Hold on. I am here with Till. And Till and I were catching up a little beforehand, and he was asking me if I ever had a sad guest.
Sad guest.
And I can say usually it's, a pretty fired up atmosphere, but I do think naturally with everything going on, there's definitely like a weird feeling sometimes when I wake up in the morning, that, obviously something's just not right. Did you want to touch on any of that with us? How you're feeling and what's going on over there? I mean, you look.
Well, hey, tell you the truth, I'd rather not talk about it. But what is there to talk about? What else is there to talk about? Except that people are having a hard time. You know what it is? I just had an argument with my son. I'm all upset about my stock. My cows are in their stalls. They've been socially isolated in their little stalls for like months now. They're going crazy. And he comes in and he says, Pop, what about herd immunity? And I'm like, you don't know, son. You just don't understand what that means. And so I'm just upset.
So, one of the things I was seeing online is that maybe this will bring you some joy as you reflect a little bit on are you doing something called Zoga?
Yeah, Zoga's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
What does that look like? What are you doing?
Huh. Well, since most of us can't work on other people, can't even let the cows out, depending on what state you're in, I suppose. But most of us can't work on other people. I figure why not work on ourselves? And so we're rolling around on the floor and we're doing this cool stuff. It's my buddy, my partner, Wojtek, who's from Poland. And he's a good old boy. He just gets us down on that mat and has us doing these funny kind of gliding motions and things. It really, honestly, it's pretty good. It's a lot like working on yourself at home. And that's what he does. He's a manual therapist, and so he's just going through like our usual workshop series, except he's we're doing it on ourselves. So that's yeah. Thank you. That's a little bright spot in my day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I noticed you were checking in on the hips with that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that you are you doing full body work? Are you doing different segments? How can people watch it? Because I'm guessing that they would like to know where they could find it.
I yeah. I'll tell you all about that. But what about this situation we're in? What about the fact that we're like all messed up and don't know what to do? People are going like crazy. Some are just ready to bust out of their stalls and go kick around, do whatever, you know? And some people are still like stuck in there with their cabin fever.
Uh, I feel like for
What are
me,
you, how are you doing, by the way?
I appreciate you asking. I don't always get that, but I'm doing I'm doing all right. I feel like it's it's interesting. I feel like for me as a therapist and as a human, I was brought up in a family where if you didn't have it, you didn't spend it. You buckled down, you hung tight, and I've never experienced anything like this in my 48 years, and I've never experienced anything like this in my 23 years. Um, but honestly, right now, I'm using the time to kind of reflect and kind of think a bit, and that's really, I feel like that's really all I can do to kind of get through, trying to be helpful to other people, spend a lot of time
Yeah,
online, trying to give people advice and
yeah,
stuff like that. But how am I doing? I mean, it's weird. I feel like I'm in like The Walking Dead, but it's real life and there's no zombies. It's just, I feel like I'm in one of those movies where the world is coming to an end, but that's, like, you know what I'm saying. There's like
yeah,
that near doom.
yeah. Well, and this is what the argument with my son was about is like, how much of it is fear itself and how much of it is like biological threat? And he said, it's all fear. And I'm like, I'm inclined to agree with him, except, and you could think that I live just right outside of here, Boulder, Colorado, really pretty place. Kid growing up in Boulder, Colorado, like he did, could look around and say, this doesn't seem so bad. And so when he starts complaining about it and saying this is like no big deal, I say, you privileged little brat. I didn't say brat, but I'm thinking, are you privileged? Whatever. He said, you're calling me privileged? That's when he got upset.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
that,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Because I just read this morning that the Navajo Nation has a higher death rate, higher infection rate than any other political entity in the U.S. So there are pockets of our population that are seriously suffering, not just from fear itself. Yeah, there's a lot of fear around, but it's not abstract to everybody. That's what I'm telling him, at least. You know.
And I couldn't agree more. I'm not, there. One of the things that I've experienced as well is, there are some people. I even have clients reaching out and saying, "I've been quarantined. You've been quarantined. How about how about how about we just open up for me to get a massage?" And
Oh yeah.
I've been in my house now since March 16th. We moved, but I've literally been inside. I think I've gone out just a couple times. Am I afraid? No, but do I know for sure? One of the things for me, I don't know about you, is a lot of it's hypothesis, meaning like no one knows if it's really bad or it's really good or how it can be handled, and I'm a fact person. I didn't think I was, but so until there's some kind of clarity to a degree, I'm just going to follow the guidelines. I think I'll just keep following the guidelines.
Yeah. I'm sorry to be such a bummer guest today on your show. You're like, your ratings are going to go way down after this. No one wants to sit here and listen to this kind of stuff because it's hard. And I got to say, most days I'm doing pretty good. I get 3, 5, 8 messages a day from somebody having a hard time. And so far, I'm feeling pretty good about being able to support them or help give them a better context, But something about that little argument with my son just kind of got to me. So I'm just feeling it here today. What's there to say about it,
There's not much to say about it, and we can even cut it short today if you'd like. And at least people got to see your handsome face, and there's a little smile there. Like I said, this is a topic for me like I said, I don't really have. I'm the kind of person where I don't have any answers.
You cut me off anytime you want, hon. If I'm saying something that ain't right, you just hang up on the dial, and I'll be gone. But before
Well,
you do,
I think really all we've covered. I don't think you've said anything wrong. I think at all.
No, I don't think so either. Thank you for saying that. But I think there is a way that some of us don't let the pain in sometimes. And I think there's something there about a new relationship with pain, whether you believe in it or not, whether, you're like my son, you think it's like fake news, or you're really worrying about the people that are, in prison or in detention or on a reservation who can't move around. No matter which end of that spectrum you're on, there's something to feel. And I think that all of the keeping ourselves busy and all of our keeping ourselves up, that's good. We got to take care of ourselves, but there's also just some feeling we got to be doing, just some feeling, because it ain't going to change without that. It ain't going to change without that. So that's where you caught me today.
Yeah, the only thing that I would add to that is you can't go around. You have to go through, and we're all in this together. And for me, there's been a lot of ups and there's been a lot of downs. In the beginning, I was unable to move. I didn't even come online for about a month because I was like, forget about it. I didn't have it in me. I was a little sad, and so I do think that it comes in waves for people. And if it didn't, I think that would be. Like I think they say in the Tao Te Ching, high winds don't blow all day. I don't think it's possible to be up or down all the time, unless you got something real major going on. So, Till,
Yeah,
I just want you to know, man, like from the bottom of my heart, I'm still a big fan, even if you're a little blue today and you didn't really cover much ground. I mean, you can come on, you can talk to me anytime. I'm here for you.
that's sweet.
If you need to, you can just give your son my number. I'm happy to talk to him too.
Yeah, you set him
I,
straight. You talk to that kid.
I do good with kids. I mean,
Yeah, we do all right too, me and him. But me and him. All right. Well, what else are you going to ask me about?
well, I was going to ask you I was just going to talk to you a little bit about your thinking practitioner stuff. I had
Yeah.
you had some stuff up online about the principles of the pelvis, the hip, and the sacrum. You got classes coming up in August and September. I mean,
We've been
and
so busy. We've been so busy. Honestly, there's so much going on. I mean, it's just unbelievable how much interest there is. And I know, like I said, there's so many people wanting to connect right now and reaching out to each other and reaching out personally, but also reaching out to each other. So just providing forums for people to get together and talk and feel and learn and get better and then translate all this stuff we know into ways that we can use it now. That's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me going.
Same. I couldn't agree more. I always, one of the things that we were talking about in one of the meetings I was in the other day was that, life is a we program. I feel like it's not we don't do well in isolation. And I think one of the things too that as I was browsing through your stuff too, was the whole, an act of kindness can it reduce loneliness and even inflammation. Like one of the things too is if I get too far inside my own head, and it starts rolling around and rolling around and rolling around. Really, the only thing that really gets me out of it is helping somebody else or just talking to someone else and realizing I'm not on this planet by myself. Which is why, too, I would wear a mask if I went into a public place because I could be a carrier of the virus. So out of love and care for others, I would just do it just in case, even if I thought this or that in my head. But so for me, I always do better when I'm connecting with people because the first month for me was pretty dark under my covers. Pretty lonely. Yeah.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you.
All right.
No, it was strange for me. We were traveling. We were in Thailand and then Taiwan. Did you want to go? You want to go? You want
No,
to wrap it up? All
no,
right,
I
because we
just
were
remember that.
traveling.
I remember that. That was something else I want to talk to you about a little because I know you had taken a pretty long trip, which sounded pretty magical.
Yeah, he was, but we left after the virus had started a little bit, but we weren't. No one was taking it that seriously. We got a couple calls. Says, "What do you think?" And says, "Well, we don't know. Wash your hands a bunch. Do what you think is best." But then whatever kind of hit the proverbial fan while we were isolated off in the jungle. There we were for 10 days, no connection, no internet, no nothing.
Oh
And we
wow.
emerged. Yeah, we emerged to 45 of us. They're floating on a big lake in the jungle in Thailand. But we emerged and our cell phones, when you get back in the range, they all start going beep, 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 beep. All the text coming in, all the news stories coming in. It was an onslaught into a whole other world because there was a whole lot more going on at that point and a little shocking. But still, I think that caused me to get into kind of a surreal mind state about it all because we went from there to Taiwan where they knew what to do. They'd been through it a couple times with SARS and different things like that. They had it dialed in. Took our temperature twice before you left the airport, had you sign stuff. We had to wear masks. They hadn't quarantined foreigners yet, but we taught a workshop of 80 therapists all wearing their masks. I meant to bring my mask to show you. Excuse me for not wearing a mask today. 80 workshops fully masked and protected, and sanitation teams going around several times a day and wiping everything down. They knew what to do. And I thought they're a little uptight about this stuff, but now looking back, said no, they had it dialed in.
Mm-hmm.
They had it dialed in, and so far history's proven them right. They're managing to keep it a detail more than a headline for themselves.
So I'll ask you this. This is like one of the hot topics that I keep seeing I mean, how do you think, I know that you were working on something with someone too, about back to practice guidelines. I mean, how are you feeling about all that stuff now? I still feel like we're a little far out, but
Yeah. Uh, I don't know what to say, honestly, so I'm not saying anything. I can say that for myself, I'm not feeling comfortable about seeing people, you know. Uh, and I actually do. I was giving you a little grief about herd immunity. Maybe that's the way I go. You know, maybe it's like at some point we got to get this over with. Maybe we're all going to get it. Maybe we should get busy and get sick, get it done with. But on the other hand, I don't want to feel like made someone sick or I transmitted it anyway. I don't want to be in that spot. So no, I ain't ready to, start seeing clients in that way at all. Now, no judgment. I know there's a lot of hot feelings around it, and I know that every place is different. Like, for instance, uh, talk to somebody on a to be unnamed island. He lives on an island. There hasn't been anybody sick on that island for weeks. Yeah. So they're basically quarantined on this island, and he's seeing people. Who am I to say that's wrong?
right.
So there might be situations, or hey, I meant to pull that up. I got a really sweet letter from a woman in Australia working in a hospital. And she said, I know a lot of massage therapists are being shut down as non essential. Our surgery or our physician team came to us and said, you're working with critical care and end of life people, and you're worth it. We want you to stay. Now, I know that's controversial. I know there's other people at Cal Gates, bless their heart, are saying, we don't want to get anybody sick. We're bowing out of this game. And I respect that too. But the letter she sent us about the story was the doctors were saying, you're our wingman. We need you to help take care of these people. You do something that's so essential that we want you right there in this end of life care. And it was gratifying to read that. It's true that we do offer something that's so deep and meaningful. And yet the other side's true. We don't want to be spreading nothing. It's pretty hard to do this work without at least knowing there's a risk of that there. So depending on how you feel about that risk is going to, determine what you do.
I always get
There's,
stuck. I always stop at the point where am I afraid of what the virus will do to me? I feel pretty solid as a person. Like I work out, I eat well. I'm 102 and I only look 48.
you look pretty
There's a
good.
lot. But I would be terrified to be a carrier of something and get someone else sick. So
Yeah,
that's where I always get stuck on when I think about it.
yeah.
Because like I know some people have compared this. I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, it was an interesting comparison of the HIV scare when I first started
Mm-hmm,
as a massage practitioner. Everyone was
mm-hmm.
terrified. No one knew for sure how that was transmitted and what could happen.
Yep, yep,
And we walked through that. It took time and it took people figuring it out. And I think
yep. Did you see that movie, Dallas? Matthew McConaughey. You know that
no.
one? You gotta
Mm-mm.
see it. You gotta see it. It's about what you're talking about. Dallas something. It's good. But anyway, yeah, we didn't know what was going on with HIV and AIDS, and a whole lot of stigma, a whole lot of fear, a whole lot of hyped up uh, isolation that turned out in the end. It's good to know what you're doing, but we don't have to treat each other like that. And I think probably that's what it's going to mean because we're honestly, I don't know how we're going to get that risk to zero. Until maybe there is a vaccine, until all the herd dies out that's going to die. There's going to be a risk. It's going to be like we got to figure out what we're going to do about risk. And there's ways we can mitigate it. We can get. Someone sent me. I get all these people are trying to help out. They know I'm interested in this stuff, and they send me video after YouTube after editorial going on about all the stuff we should all know about. And one of them was a super duper air cleaner, $800 item. They are not paying me a commission, so I'm not going to mention their name. But in any case, I don't know, maybe that's a good idea, but that's, maybe we need all the help we can get, something we can do to make us comfortable with this risk factor, help us be comfortable with it, and help our clients feel comfortable about it. Because I know people that are busting at the seams, people that have been like doing underground work the whole time that are still pretty full. I know people that are just getting back in and have a waiting list. And I know the opposite. I've been hearing from people say, I had to really work it up to get back into practice and figure out what made it right for me. And now I'm starting and no one's coming. What do I do? No one's showing up. So there's a lot of scared people too on the other end of the equation. So I think it's just, for me, it's too soon. And it's too soon for me to tell anybody what I even think they should do if I ever, knew anyway.
I'm right there with you on that one. No idea. I have 13 therapists waiting for me and ask, we meet every week and they say, well, what do you think? And I say, I don't know what there is to think about quite yet. So as far as I'm concerned, we did though. I'll tell you this too. I amped up on some serious air purifiers. I have an air purifier for every single room at Freedom Massage. I've always had them in my house, but I don't know why I never thought of that. The UVC dash 2000 million. And then, I also have an ionizer that will run at night. I also, on my HVAC system, have an air scrubber, which is another UV thing, and is that overkill? I don't know. I prefer if there's a way for me to get a little clean air. I'm willing to make the investment, and they're not all outrageously priced. So
that sounds reasonable to me. That sounds reasonable to me. That sounds plausible, as they say. Yeah. Part of the problem is nobody has any definite answers. I don't know if that's a problem. For some of us, that's not a problem. Some of us are used to a world where there's lots of gray. But if you're like a black and white kind of person, this is a tough time.
Impossible time.
Impossible. Like, who's going to tell you what to buy? Give you a shopping list, a checklist you can do and go back to work. It ain't there. It's going to, it's basically going to be, how are you going to reconcile yourself with the risk that's going to be there, your conscience, and your client's desire to come on back, all those kinds of things. When we figure that out, we got it made.
Well, you're going to keep us posted on that. When you figure that out, maybe you'll give me a call and we could make an announcement online that Till has unveiled the mystery and solved the corona
It's
issue
kind
for all massage therapists.
Thank you. I mean, people are asking me what I think, and I think it's just because no one knows what to think. But I think it's a shift we all got to make. We're all going to have to somehow figure it out, and maybe some of that's getting over fear. Maybe some of that's ingraining safety. Probably both sides of that. But it's got to be a cultural shift. Hey, do you know about hedonic adaptation? You ever heard of that?
No, I don't. Tell me about that.
Pretty cool stuff. It also really sucks. Hedonic adaptation is kind of what we're all going through. And it says that basically when something happens that's really good or really bad, it impacts us really big time. And then we kind of get used to it after a while. We adapt to a certain level of pleasure, hedonic adaptation. So that's like why there's nothing like that first whatever, there's nothing like that first time. Yeah, after the second, third, whatever time, you just kind of get used to it. That becomes the new normal. It's pretty amazing, but amazing becomes a new normal. So that's the sad part about it, that even amazing things get to be kind of, normal. The other side is the really bad things aren't so bad after a while either. You kind of get to a place where you go, okay, this is how life is now. Okay, I can deal with that. That's hedonic adaptation the other way. Yeah. Here's the weird part. Surprise, novelty, control. Maybe there's the other one. There's three of them. I can't remember the third one for sure. Surprise and novelty mean that adaptation process gets messed up. You don't get used to it quite so much. If your girlfriend keeps surprising you with something, it's like, whoa, okay, this is still good. Yeah. But it works the other way on the bad stuff. If the bad stuff keeps surprising you with stuff, you go, whoa, this is still bad. So it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. And we'll get to the new normal. It'll get better. That's pretty much guaranteed. But in the meantime, I had a sad morning, and it's getting a little better talking to you. So thank you for that. Getting a little better. Appreciate that.
Well, I've never seen you quite so sad or heard you quite so sad. So it goes with the cowboy hat a little bit, like in the right, like country western music, or maybe like the right
Oh yeah, right. That's
TV
true.
show.
No, I was all excited to tell you about how my cows are doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's not all good news out there. So no,
No.
it's true. If you feel bad, you just listen to a little bit of country and western, and that'll help.
And
That's
I think the thing too is if you feel bad, it's not surprising, and you shouldn't be like it's okay to feel bad. I keep telling my group that like if you
yeah.
don't feel bad at all through this whole thing, there's definitely an issue. We'll all have our ups and downs, but it's just
Right. Maybe there's not an issue now, but you can only hold your breath for so long. You can only be immune, so to speak, for so long. This infectious process we're in the middle of is actually pretty virulent. It's going to get you eventually. This fear and this upset, it's going to get you. And so then you got to learn your immune system, your reactive immune system, has to learn how to deal with that. How to deal with those feelings or that discouragement or that despair. We got the 5 stages of COVID going on,
100%.
and I don't know which stage we're in now, but it's one of those. It's one of those after denial. The denial stage is starting to wear off. It could
It
be
is.
anger.
Yeah.
What are the other ones? Bargaining.
You know what?
Anger, denial, bargaining. I got to look them up.
I'll have to check that into that. But I do think that the denial is definitely over. I do think we see some floods of anger and yeah.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Yep.
Time will tell the tale.
Yep.
So all right, Till.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you for joining
Oh,
me.
sorry. One more thing I got to mention. Kiva. You
Oh,
got
I
to
know.
check
I have
out
that on
Kiva.
my list of things. I don't know what to bring up right now with you,
I
Till.
know. No, that's the
Except
one. Before we go, I got to say that Kiva, you got to check out Kiva because it's so cool what's going on there. It made me smile to see that. People are essentially loaning each other money on a small scale, like $25 as a lender, that's what you can put in. People are doing loan applications for a few $1,000 up to 10, 15,000 bucks to tide them through a tough time. There's zero interest loans. Yeah. They don't count against your credit rating. You don't have to go through a traditional loan application, but a lot of businesses in the US are starting to use them. There's a long history of helping people all over the world. It was microfinance. It was helping women in Africa buy a cell phone so they could connect all the people in their village to the outside world and talk to their relatives. That was their original mission. And now they're financing COVID infected businesses in the US. And there's only one, as of yesterday, maybe it's different now because I've been telling people, there's only one body worker in the whole of the US. A guy in San Francisco says, "Hey, I need to borrow 8,000 bucks to pay my rent through this time so I can keep my office."
oh
He'd
wow.
already raised most of the money. It's kind of like a GoFundMe thing, except that the lender gets paid back if they want to. And you could dial it down for risk tolerance. You can sort it by gender. You can sort it by thing. For a long time, I've been doing it for people with health concerns, like people borrowing money to go have a surgery. That was near to my heart. So I got a bunch of loans out around the world for people that help them get medical procedures. And my repayment rate's pretty darn good. It's well over 90%. So that just means I can turn around and loan it again. Anyway, Kiva's pretty awesome. Check them out, kiva.org. And
Yeah,
if
I'll
you,
definitely post it.
yeah, I'll give you the link too. It's hands on something. We got a little lending team there. So if you want to lend $25, if you want to lend a few $1,000, join us on the team because we get to see which other each other lending to, and it
Oh,
all
cool.
pools. Yeah, it pools into like an aggregate money that we can be there for. And honestly, I think massage therapists, body workers, whatever, in the U.S. and Canada need to be taking advantage of this. If you believe in yourself, if you believe in your future, if you believe in your work, an interest-free loan is a kind of gift.
Oh,
You
yes.
know, so that's what we're talking about. People helping people on that level. So thank you.
And we're coming back. We're coming back. We will be back. And I think one of the things too, I hope everyone keeps in mind is, like I said, I really do think it's life is about the we. It's not about the I, and just being helpful. Yeah.
Mm,
So,
mm.
Kiva, Kiva.
KIVA.org. And I'll give you that link to our team because it'd be fun to have more people on that team too. Or you
Deal.
can, yeah,
I have $25.
yeah, right. And you
How
might
about
even
that?
get it back. And if you don't, it helps somebody out anyway.
Yeah. All right, Till. It was good to see
Okay.
you. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you,
It was,
Diane. I feel better. I feel better. Sorry to all your guests for bringing them down, but I hope we all got back up again too.
well, I appreciate your honesty. So
Yay.
it was good to see you. Hang tight, and goodbye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Dallas Buyers Club. There it is. Someone knew what I was talking
I
about.
know,
There it is.
right?
Yep.
Darn.
Okay. See you later.